Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker. Today we are making a paper flower wall art canvas on the Great Maker Show and Tell. So in my last tutorial I created several bouquets of paper flowers, just like these over here. So now it's time to put them to good use and make some beautiful wall art decor. I have designed these two paper vase flower canvas things. I don't have a good word for them, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make them and so that you can have your own as well. Now the first one that I made is this simple and cute mason jar that's filled with red roses. There are exactly 10 roses, each one is a different size to give it a little perspective. The mason jar itself is made from iron-on vinyl on a reverse canvas, and if you don't know what that is, no worries, I'm going to show you how to do that. And the words on the jar read "Love Blooms Here," and the canvas is 12 inches by 12 inches. Now this one is a pretty art glass vase filled with 10 paper flowers. Each one is a little different from the other. The flowers are all made from shimmer cardstock to give them some added sheen, and the vase is made from transparency film using print then cut on my Cricut cutting machine. Isn't that awesome? So it's see-through just like a real vase. I actually designed different vase colors, blue, green, amber, pink, and purple, so that you can choose. And this canvas is 8 inches by 24 inches. And of course, you can get the free files for both of these vases over on my blog at jennifermaker.com. So let's head on over there so I can show you where to find them, and then we will get started. Okay, so let me first show you how to make the paper roses in a mason jar wall art. So you're going to want to start over at my blog at jennifermaker.com, and you'll want to find the post about the paper flower wall art. And if you scroll down, you'll see there's a link right here in step 1. And if you click this, it takes you right to Cricut Design Space that has all of the flowers for the mason jar wall art that I made. So that's 10 flowers in 10 different sizes, as well as the leaves. Everything is sized right. Now, to get the mason jar itself, you want to go back to my blog and click on Libraries. Scroll down and enter my free resource library. If you need the password, you can get it at the bottom of any post on my blog. Once you're in there, you'll want to search for the Mason Jar SVG and download that and open it up once it's downloaded. And you'll want to look for the SVG. It's important that you unzip any file that you download from me before you try to upload it to Cricut Design Space. So that's the SVG right there. So let's hop back on over to Cricut Design Space and we'll click Upload, Upload Images, Browse, and go find that SVG that we've downloaded and unzipped. So it's right here. So click that and then click Open. And it'll come in and you'll see I've got some extra things in there so that you can make some choices about how you want to use this file. So once it's uploaded, click it and then insert it. So here it is. Let me scroll down so you can see it a little bit better, and we'll zoom in a little bit as well. Now, you'll want to ungroup everything so that you can choose what you don't want. So we'll get rid of these flowers here, just clicking delete on my keyboard. And I have different, I put the Love Blooms Here text in a couple different fonts, so you can choose what you want. You can just drag over the one that you like. I like the original one with the little plants and birds. So I'm going to put that back on the jar, make sure it's centered. And then I'm going to select both layers and click Attach. Now everything is kept together. The sizing right now is about right, but if you need to resize it larger or smaller, you just use the icon in the lower right corner and click and drag it. But a little over 5 inches is good. So let's click Make It. And so we see all of our layers here. And I've got, you can see there's the leaf layer and here's the flower layer. You may need to make, if you don't have a 24-inch mat, you might need to make that a little smaller. But let's look at this black layer. Now I'm going to do iron-on vinyl for mine, so I'm going to mirror it. If you're not going to do iron-on vinyl, then you don't need to mirror it. You can cut this out in paper or self-adhesive vinyl or anything like that. But yeah, I'm going to do iron-on so that I know it sticks really well to my canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and search for the Everyday Iron-On, which is what I'm using. And we're going to go over to the Cricut and cut this out. So here is my mat with my vinyl on it. And note I've put it on face down. Whenever you cut out iron-on vinyl, you always want to put your vinyl on your mat face down, so that's shiny side down. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this out just using the fine point blade. It's not difficult at all, actually. And the reason that I chose to use the iron-on vinyl rather than self-adhesive vinyl is because it's not always so easy to get vinyl to stick to plain canvas. And I thought it would be fun to do the reverse canvas and show you exactly how I did it in this tutorial as well. And iron-on works great for a reverse canvas. And plus, you know, with the iron-on vinyl, I know it's going to stick there and it's not going to want to come off at any point later on either. So that's why I chose that. All right, so the Cricut is all done cutting out the jar, and you can see it right there. So let's go ahead and take this over. So these are all the paper flowers. I've already cut them out. I'm not going to show you exactly how to roll up these paper flowers in this video because I have a whole entire other video tutorial that goes into lots of depth on choosing the right cardstock for paper flowers, determining which tool to use to roll these up, and the best glue to use. So please head on over there and watch that. I have linked that tutorial in this video so that you can watch that. But again, you know, for this mason jar wall art, I am using 10 flowers and each one is a different size. And I thought it would be fun to do that because then I can arrange the roses to give us some perspective as if it's a bouquet and not just, you know, flat roses or flat flowers. All right, so there we go. We have all 10 of our roses all rolled up and ready to go. So let's set the flowers aside and turn our attention to our canvas. So to make a reverse canvas, you need to begin by removing the canvas itself from the frame. So you just flip it over and you use an X-Acto knife or craft knife to cut around the outside. So just outside the staples. You do not need to remove these staples. That's a big pain and you don't need to do that. So you just take off the canvas and set it aside. Now you flip over your frame and you have this beautiful frame that you can then use. It looks actually pretty awesome, I think. So you can just leave it unfinished, or you can stain it, or you can spray paint it, or you can paint it with acrylic paint, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint it navy blue because I think that's going to look awesome in my bedroom. And you're just going to paint it. There's nothing special to it. I didn't sand it or anything. I wanted this to have a shabby chic look. I don't want it to look, you know, polished or anything. If I did, this would still be fine. I'd probably just want to use like a glossy paint or put a glossy sealer over it when I was done. But I don't, so I'm simply going to paint it with my navy blue acrylic paint and then let it dry. Just make sure that you get the insides and the outsides as well as the top because this is going to be visible and you want it to look good. So while your frame paint is drying, let's weed our mason jar decal. So I always find it such a challenge to get the vinyl started on the, you know, to take it off the vinyl because we need to remove the vinyl that we're not going to use. I find the easiest way to get this extra bit of vinyl off is to make a little cut in the corner and then bend it and then peel it away. So it's sort of like creating a little cut line so that you can then remove that vinyl that you don't want. And so there is the outline of our jar, and then we need to take our weeding tool and get all the extra little bits out. And don't forget to get the insides of the letters and any other small details that you're able to weed out. There we go. It's all weeded. Be sure to check for any little bits like those corners there. You don't want to accidentally transfer those to your canvas. All right, so now it's time to iron this onto the canvas that we removed from our stretched frame. I'm going to use my Easy Press. You could also use an iron or another heat press. whatever works. It's not a complicated project. But I'm going to use my little Easy Press, and I'm going to set the temperature to 340 degrees, which is the recommended setting from Cricut for a project like this. While it's heating up, we're going to make sure we know exactly where we want to put our mason jar. So keep in mind that the frame is going to take 1 inch all around. So you want to make sure that you're marking it far enough in on your canvas, so not right at the edge, or your frame will cover it. You can just use a little pencil mark and be sure that you center it as well. And once that's marked, you're going to want to preheat your canvas for 5 seconds and then place your mason jar decal where you want it. Cover it with a piece of parchment paper or a Teflon sheet if you have that. Cover that and then set your Easy Press or iron on it and heat it for 30 seconds. Apply, medium pressure. And then when it's done, you'll want to turn it over and heat it the other side for 15 seconds. After you've finished ironing it, you'll want to wait about a minute before you start peeling it. Now, this iron-on vinyl is a warm peel, which means you do want to take it off while it's warm, but not while it's hot. I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. So gently peel it off, make sure that it's sticking. If it's not, give it a little bit extra time, and then gently pull it off. If you have a problem, you can go ahead and heat it one more time, but you'll want to wait again until it's cooled down just a bit. And there we go. It has come off and it looks great. So let's put the Easy Press away, and we're going to now put our canvas back into our frame, but it's going to go the reverse way so that we can see our pretty blue frame. Erase any pencil marks if you have any left. So there's our frame, and you'll see that right away our canvas is bigger, right? So just use your pencil and mark around the edges where the frame is. Bring your pencil in a little bit, and then go ahead and cut it out right where your pencil line was. You could always trim this a little bit more later, but you don't want to cut any more than this because it's important that your canvas is at just about the same size as your frame, because that's how we're going to reattach it. So put your frame back on, double check that everything fits, and when it does, put some hot glue at the top of your canvas, just like I'm doing right here, and then set your frame on top of it. You want to make sure you got that canvas centered on your frame just like this. And when it looks good, you'll want to glue the rest of it down. So just take your hot glue gun. You'll want to work quickly and put a line of glue along the side, across the bottom, and up the other side. And then put your frame back down and press. You can turn over and press and make sure everything is nice and smooth. There's no creases or bumps or anything like that. And you'll see there's on this side it's just a little extra, so I'm going to just take my knife and remove that little bit of extra canvas so we don't see that when it's hanging on our wall. And you can check all the other sides for that as well. I think there's a little along the bottom as well here. So there we go. It looks awesome, doesn't it? Now it's all ready for our flowers. So I'm going to arrange my flowers so that it looks realistic. And by doing, I'll put the bigger ones in the middle and at the top, and the smaller ones below that, because if it's on the wall, we'll probably see it from that angle, right? And for the leaves I cut out, I'm just using my weeding tool to just put a line down the center and then folding them to give the leaves more dimensionality and look a little more realistic. And there's no, you can put these in any order or way you want. I'm just doing what looks good, honestly. Tucking a couple leaves inside the flowers themselves so that it looks like, an actual bouquet of roses. All right, so let's take these off now that we've decided where to put them. And I am going to glue everything on now using my hot glue gun. And that's it. We just put some glue on the bottom and then press it onto the canvas. It's really super easy, and this is totally the fun part. I do recommend that you experiment with where you want your roses or other flowers to go before you actually glue them down. And if you want, then you can just pick up each one at a time and glue them. So just keep going through and gluing all of your roses. I recommend you do your flowers first and then do your leaves, because the leaves can tuck under the flowers and go in between flowers much easier than if you put them down first. Then you have to line up your flowers so that they match. And these little ones on the side here, I'm actually attempting to put them kind of at an angle. Do you see how I'm doing that? So it looks like we're seeing the roses. They're actually like pointing in a different direction. We're seeing them from the side. And that, I think, also enhances the illusion of seeing a bouquet of flowers in a mason jar. All right, so let's put some leaves in. I'm just tucking them around the sides. I'm just putting the hot glue on the stem because I want the leaf to be able to stick up a little bit from the canvas, just like the flowers are. I think that it matches better if you can do it like that. Now you'll notice I didn't put any indication of stems in this mason jar, and that's because there's words on the jar and I wanted to make sure they were very clear and easy to read. If you choose not to do any words, then you could certainly put stems in your jar, or perhaps use a lighter color or something like that. And one more leaf, I think, right up here to hide this little spot right here in case anyone sees it from the top. And there we go. Doesn't that look awesome? I am super happy with this. This was a fun project. And it's going to look amazing on my bedroom wall. And of course, you could use any kind of flowers you wanted here. All the same size, different sizes, different colors, different styles of flowers. Just go crazy, have fun. Okay, so now let me show you how to make the paper flowers in a glass vase. Or it looks like a glass vase, right? So again, you're going to want to go to jennifermaker.com and find the paper flower wall art post and scroll down. You can use the little table of contents there to get down to the Art Glass Vase paper section and click on this link here, and it will then take you to all the flowers and the leaves that I use for this project, all in the right sizes, all ready to go. To get the vase, go back to my blog, go to my libraries and log in, and you'll want to look for the vase PNG file, because this is not an SVG. The vases are in PNG. And there's actually 5 different colors for you to choose from. So let's come back to Cricut Design Space, click Upload, Upload Image, Browse, and then pick one of these 5 colors. So there's amber, blue, green, pink, and purple. I'm going to go with the blue. I love this color of blue. And when you bring this in, you want to click Complex and then click Continue. You don't have to do anything to it. It's all ready to go. So click Continue again and say this is a print then cut image. It might take a little while for it to upload. It's a large high resolution file. Once it's in, go ahead and click on its image and then click Insert Images. Now, when it comes into your canvas, it's going to be a lot larger than you need it because it's a high resolution image, so that looks good when we print it. So you will need to resize it. So just use the sizing at the very top of the Cricut Design Space window to change it. And I'm going to change it into 9.2 inches so that it fits within the print then cut limitations. And then that's it. We're just going to go ahead and send this over and start getting this printed and cut. So I am going to send this to my printer. Now, when you click print, make sure that you keep your bleed on because it'll produce a nicer cut image. Also, if you cut this on transparency film like I do, click on your advanced settings and make sure that your quality is the best possible and your paper type is something like glossy. That will give you the best image printed on your transparency film. And remember, you need to print on the rough side of your transparency film, not the shiny side. And you can choose transparency film right in Cricut Design Space so that it knows the kind of material that it'll be cutting. There you go. So go ahead and cut out your transparency film and all of your flowers, and then we will assemble this. So here we go. Here's my canvas. It's a long, tall canvas. You can use whatever size you want. You just might need to resize your vase and or your flowers so that it fits. So here's a pink one and a blue one. Printed out both so that you could see the differences. Both are on transparency film, and they're both therefore translucent, which makes it really cool. And the transparency film is a little shiny, so it looks more like glass. This is the transparency film I used. Just make sure that you use the right type for your printer. I had an inkjet printer. So I'm going to, I want there to be stems visible in my vase. So I'm just going to cut out 3 strips right from my 12 by 12 self-adhesive vinyl. I don't need to use my Cricut to do that. And make sure that they look pretty good. Position them. You know, it doesn't have to be like perfectly straight. After all, a stem wouldn't be perfectly straight, would it? And once I'm going to mark the bottom edge there so I know about where they should be. And then I'm going to take off the backing on the strips and put them into place. Now, the nice thing about this self-adhesive is that it's not super, super sticky, and you'll be able to reposition these if they don't quite look right once you put your vase over it. But that's what I recommend you do. So place them on where you think that they should go, and then check with your vase to make sure they still look good. And then we'll put on the third one. Like this one, I think needs to be repositioned a bit on the side there. So let's put this third one on, and then we'll fix that other one, because we want to make sure that our stems are all within our vase, right? That one on the side there is a little close to the edge. There we go. That looks good. That looks realistic. We're going to use permanent spray adhesive to attach our vase. So spray the rough side so that the shiny side, the glass-like side, is on the outside. And don't worry if you get little droplets or air bubbles when you spray, because actually it's going to look more realistic with that. And mine, in fact, did that, and I thought it looked awesome. It was a happy accident. So once you've got that adhesive on, just make sure you've got it really well adhered. Turn it over and press it down from the back as well. You can just use a scraper or, your fingers, even whatever it takes just to get that. Make sure that's down there. And it is important to use permanent spray adhesive, or it may eventually come off. And then put your flowers where you think that they look nice. There's no rules here. You get to choose what you'd like. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to put leaves around as well. And just, again, I'm kind of filling in spots to create a pleasing arrangement. And I'm using a variety of leaves, unlike the previous project, which was just roses. So I used only rose leaves. This project has 10 different styles of flowers, so we can use any kind of leaves we really want to. All right, so now it's time to apply all of these flowers. Now I have them where I want them to be, so rather than take them all off, I'm just going to go one at a time and take one off and put the glue on the bottom, press it down while the glue sets, and then work through all of the flowers just like that. I'll do the stems as I go as well, and I'm just gluing down the tips of the stems on the leaves so that they can stick up from the canvas and continue that three-dimensional look that the flowers have. So there we go. We have all 10 flowers glued down, so let's just fill in with our leaves around the edges and in between flowers. Wherever you might see a bare spot would be a great place for a leaf. There we go. I think that looks awesome. Oh, there's a couple extra at the bottom, so make sure we get everything glued in there. And there we go. It's all finished. Doesn't that look super, super cool? I love how the flowers stick up off the canvas. It's a really, really fun effect. So these paper flower canvases are going to look amazing on my wall, and I bet they're going to look great on yours too. I love how easy they were to put together, and you can really personalize this project by changing the words on the jar or using different colors and types of flowers. And remember, I have over a dozen free paper flower files at jennifermaker.com/paperflowers. I cannot wait to see how you make this project your own. Please share a photo of your completed paper flower wall art in my Facebook group over at jennifermaker.com/cricketcrafters so we can all appreciate your creations. And my Facebook group is also a great place to ask questions about this project, or you can always just leave a comment below this video and I would be happy to answer. So that's it for today. Remember, if you can tell me what you want to make, I can show you how to make it. Until next time.